Hello, dear listeners. Welcome back to another episode of the Peculiarstars Lifestyle Network. I remain your host, Emmanuel. Today, we dive into a pressing topic, the gambling or betting pandemic. It's hard to ignore the publicity given to gambling recently on social media. And what's more, it's not just men anymore. Even women are embracing betting on a personal level. So join me as we shed more light on this growing trend. Gambling is addictive and can easily lead to compulsive gambling. I know you all know that it starts out as a harmless entertainment, but it can quickly become an unhealthy addiction. I know you've all had your experiences, but personally I have seen people use their school fee to play sports betting and eventually they lose everything. This cost them extra year, they had to defer their admission. I've seen people lose their accommodation fee, to sports betting, and they had to, scot with people for a whole year. So it can be very addictive and it can cost you a lot. Recently, I saw a report by National Lottery Trust Fund, and it says that Nigerians spend about $975 million daily on online sports. I want to know, do you believe this report or you think it's just a cap? Let me know your views in the comments. In some people's opinion, betting or gambling is driven by greed, both by gambling providers seeking profit and gamblers seeking windfalls. They believe that it uses people simply as means of financial ends. Share with us in the comments your opinion on this. Do you also agree that gambling is driven by greed or not? I hope you all know that gambling is beyond sports betting and it's also beyond placing bets with your money. It can be with valuables. And just like drugs, alcohol and some other things, gambling can also be very addictive. But today I'm going to focus on sports betting because it's one of the most common and it can involve, basketball, football, cricket, tennis, horse racing, boxing and other sporting activities. So why do people bet? First of all, if we are going to say the truth, people bet to leave the trenches, as people always say. Let's not lie at all. The economy is very hard, and in the face of desperation, betting suddenly begins to look like the only way to escape poverty. So the dream is to cash out big with a very small amount of money. Also, I believe that people bet to pay off their debt. Being in debt can be mentally draining, and the pressure to pay off sometimes makes the idea of betting appealing. So let's take for example, you have just 5,000 naira on you and you want to pay a debt of 100,000 naira. You might consider placing a bet to win big. When you can easily use a very small amount of money to place bets, hoping to win back a very huge amount of money. People also bet for fun. I know this is not true with a lot of Nigerian gamblers, though. I need us to know that not every gambler is addicted. So what other reasons do you think makes people to play bet? Share with us in the comments. As I said earlier, betting now has a very large PR on social media, and the fact is that a lot of gamblers these days are super addicted. When you look at gambling, there are about 4 stages of gambling addiction, and the first stage is the winning phase, the other one is the losing phase, the desperation phase and the hopeless phase. In the winning phase, this is when gamblers begin to experience back-to-back wins, and they are very optimistic and positive. They have positive outcomes consistently and they are just happy. They are accumulating profit and they are excited. In the losing phase, this is when they start to experience series of losses and negative outcomes in their betting or gambling activities. It can be very frustrating and demoralizing as an individual. You begin to lose and it begins to outweigh your wins. During this phase, they may feel disappointed and anxious. or even angry about their lack of success. When they begin to lose back to back to back, they become desperate, to recoup, to make back their losses and regain their previous winning status. So in this phase, they may engage in riskier bets or gambling activities, and with higher stake in the hope of turning their luck around. Desperations can lead to impulsive decision making, which may further worsen their losses. And finally, on these stages, after prolonged period of losses and unsuccessful attempts to recover, they become hopeless, and they might have even exhausted everything they have financially, and they begin to experience emotional distress like depression, anxiety, due to the negative impact of gambling on their life. It's important to note that these phases may not occur in a linear progression, and individuals may move back and forth between them depending on their experiences and circumstances. So it doesn't mean that when you begin to gamble, you are going to, experience the winning phase before losing phase. Anyone can come first. There are a lot of punters now that are very successful, and they post games often online for their followers to play and win with them. Recently, this has made a lot of people that don't even know anything about betting, don't know how to book games. Some don't even know the many of the options, but immediately these punters book a game and post the code, it becomes very easy to also place the bet regardless of their knowledge on the game. What do you feel about these punters? Do you think their successes are just online, or they are really successful in reality? Share with us your unpopular opinion about them in the comments. Personally, I think it's easy to know that the betting companies don't want you to win. The odds are always against you. So it's very possible for them to pay punters to influence people to play games often, and these punters can just post any games without doing any proper analysis. In some people's opinion, the punters are betting agents who create edited wins to deceive the masses. And most times you will see that it's when you don't play their game that they post their wins, but when you do, you all lose. So if you have been on losing streak and you've lost more than you've won, I advise that you stop. Some punters also create groups like Telegram channel where people pay to join the group, and in some people's opinion also, they believe that the punters make more money from their supposed bet groups rather than the bet itself. So I want you all to share with us in the comments, do you think those punters, especially on X, formerly called Twitter, genuinely want people to win, or they just work with the betting companies? So let's look at it. How then can you realistically overcome betting or gambling addiction? First of all, you have to be truthful to yourself. Don't live in denial. Own up to the fact that you have become addicted. That's the first step towards recovery. And also smash your ego and speak up. Inform everyone who needs to know in your life, maybe your parents, your partner, your office colleagues, school friends, and so on. The idea is to close down every possible channel where loose money can come from, and also delete betting apps, log out of betting Telegram channels, and unfollow all the punters. Be accountable. If possible, let someone manage your funds during your rehabilitation. The goal is to reduce your trigger to the barest minimum, and go for therapy if possible. Seek out a gambling specialist, enroll yourself to a rehab center. This addiction ruins life literally. So share with us, what alternative approaches do you believe individuals can employ to overcome gambling? So finally, if you are a gambling addict and you are struggling with all its side effects, lost relationships, bankruptcy, depression, and so on, I want you to channel your frustration on the addiction, not yourself. Let the frustration prepare you to making an about turn as soon as possible. Some people also advise that you shouldn't play bet at all, and some people say you shouldn't play bet all the time or every day, or stake with huge amount of money. You will end up regretting. Even though gambling is spelled out like ABC and can look very predictable, Betting by its nature involves an element of unpredictability, and the outcome of a bet is typically determined by chance, random events, or the performance of participants in a specific event. So, while some forms of betting like sports betting may involve an analysis of statistical data, past performance, and other factors to inform betting decisions, there is still an inherent level of uncertainty. So, what are your thoughts on the inherent unpredictability of betting? Share with us in the comments. I want you all to know that individuals may develop strategies to improve their chances of winning. It is important to recognize that no method can guarantee consistent or predictable success in betting. So it is very important to approach betting with a realistic understanding of the risks involved and to gamble responsibly. So I advise that set limits. You need to just, to avoid to lose and to view betting as a form of entertainment rather than a reliable source of income. And that's going to be all on this episode. Don't forget to press the like button, share with your friends, also share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for listening, and bye for now.